Good morning. So today we're going to talk about Google Ads not converting. Here's what might be the problem. So the first step that we see with all of our clients really is the tracking setup. You want to ensure that Google Analytics 4 was installed properly with conversion tracking, but that's not necessarily the case. There's an article right here you can check out why Google Analytics 4 sucks, and up to 40% of your results could be missing or distorted. So this is a common one, but most clients don't even have this set up. So you want to verify that you have conversion tracking. And how do you do that? You have Google Analytics 4 set up, you're getting conversions, right? Is that enough? Well, really it isn't. Because if you're using Shopify, well, Shopify actually reports a little bit better now since they've updated their dashboards. So you need at least another tool that you trust that's set up for conversion tracking so you can benchmark it. Because if you see a skew, if you're getting more conversions in one area, you're feeling conversions in your bank account, and you can't really figure out why this Google Analytics 4 tool is telling the truth or not, well, you have to take that with a grain of salt because you feel it in your bank account, you may not see it in your analytics dashboard. And this is also the decline of third-party cookies. These tools which really scraped your browser of all of the websites you would go to or just stick around and monitor and track you where you're going. Well, that's the thing of the past. You have to respect customers. With our clients is going to be lack of patience, right? And there's a lot of ways that you can talk about this, but lack of patience is you have to spend ads to get results, to make meaningful decisions, okay? And this is where a lot of clients are reluctant because they're inexperienced or they're new to advertising. It's okay. You have to allow time to happen because the worst thing you can do in Google Ads is just modify and change your accounts all the time. You might have already seen that little learning mode and you don't get any data or any dashboard results, and it really pisses you off because you're spending money with Google. But actually, the sophisticated tool like Google is running an algorithm, and really an algorithm is just like a slot. You get locked into a certain position for the quality of your keyword, your budget, your website, and the longer you're locked into that slot, the more results you get, and the better you can train the algorithm with your results and sales data, the more likely you're going to continue to invest and move on into better results with Google Ads. And a lot of the time is you have to set realistic expectations. I had one startup client reach out, and they're in film, and I get a lot of film referrals, and he's saying, Mike, what can I do with $300 to $500 a month on Google? Well, there's another footnote to it. It's December right now, and this client wanted to have something up and running to get film clients for holiday parties for New Year's. It takes about a week or two to professionally set up a campaign. It takes about a week or two to professionally set up tracking. So by the time we're ready to start, the campaign still has to go into learning mode. Realistically, a timeline from having a poor ads account to a good ads account could be 4 to 6 weeks, realistically speaking. The more budget you have, the more often we can optimize. And that brings me into the next one. It's the budget constraints, right? And this is a real one. We all have budget constraints when it comes to ad because it feels like what you have is not enough, but in reality, it is. One of the things you have to understand is your industry. So if you're in insurance, for example, and your budget is $50 a day, a click could cost $50. That means you'll get 1 click a day. Is 30 clicks good enough for your business? Well, if you know if they're good and they're going into your CRM, you can make that decision because that $50 click, the acquisition of a customer, thousands of dollars of acquisition could mean tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential deals, then you're on the right path. You have to really take into consideration ROAS, rate of return on ad spend, but this metric is also becoming dated because you have to focus on other things such as profit on ad spend. And this is a new one. You see which campaigns are bringing profit into your channel so you can really maximize and leverage it. I have to cross this pond right now, and I don't know how to do it without getting my feet wet, so I'm just going to do a jump right now. Okay, my feet are wet. Cool. Awesome, worth it for this video, guys. You also have to consider that over-optimizing and over-testing isn't a good strategy. For instance, I'll give you a good example. If you're in legal and you're doing personal injury, there's no mystery. Somebody's looking personal injury, something to the first degree misdemeanor. A couple of those keywords strung together is really what your law practice is about. And I often see legal and very, tested industries on Google Ads come in and have all this strategy where you don't need it, okay? You just need to run your ad budget. You need to focus on what works, and you have to understand what the opportunity costs. And this is what good conversion tracking is going to give you. That way, you're not feeling swindled by Google. And I think a lot of businesses feel they're swindled by Google. We have a client right now that's verifying. And you know what? This is a process that Google does to ensure the safety of its advertisers and to cut down on spam. And Google has been cutting down on spam. They have been cutting down on click fraud. And this is what conversion tracking is also going to help to prevent is click fraud and irrelevant leads, so you can get better results from Google. So it takes time, and when you do see results, you don't feel like you're getting swindled by Google. And the thing is, seeing is believing, and a lot of these clients already see it. You just can't walk into the conversation with doubts, because it is going to work. When it's going to work for you, well, that's something that we have to either commit to testing, we have to commit to optimization, or we just have to commit to the results you're getting right now. And there are some things that you might have to do outside of Google Ads, right? There's only so much you can do. It's a tool. You set it up, right? You put in a couple screws, you hit a hammer on a couple nails, and you're up and running. And there's this one metric in Google Ads is really the landing page quality, okay? You can have the best ads campaign and have the worst website and still get okay results. Now, don't get me wrong, but when your website hasn't been updated for 20 years, I think it could be a website issue, because Google, what they do is they crawl your website, they use AI, and they look at the content, the videos, the call to actions, the white papers, the CTAs, and they can benchmark that against other websites in similar industries, which is when you're setting up your accounts, you are selecting industries and things like that. So take some time to research landing pages. Really, the best tip I can give you about landing pages and websites is look at what your competitor is doing. A lot of the time, customers get sucked into wanting to build a landing page. And the only time you need to build a landing page is when your website, your service, or your offer doesn't explain it clearly, okay? If you're a plumber, you don't need a landing page, unless it's maybe a short-term promotion or something like that. But if you're a SaaS, well, it makes sense why you need a landing page, because I'm discovering competitors to this SaaS. I'm discovering different values and features that I didn't know about from this SaaS. So if your offer is really complex and it takes a lot of explanation and a lot of discovery and a lot of education, yeah, landing pages make sense. If you're a regular Main Street business, you just need a good website. And I'm not talking huge, like 5 pages is enough. Now for the e-commerce side of thing, pricing can impact results. Shipping policy can impact results, and it might not be huge, but sometimes we can measure it for our clients, right? That make a change, and then we see it, we annotate it, we're very organized, and we know that it possibly could have influenced things. Because if you're more than your competitors, well, it's hard to say how you're going to perform in the marketplace without running some e-commerce ads. And Merchant Center and Google Ads is going to give you a little breakdown for your product. So if you're properly set up, I'm talking your feed is connected, dialed in, you have all your SKUs and products, Google's going to tell you like where you fit into the marketplace. You don't have to be the highest. You definitely don't want to be the lowest. So you want to balance that opportunity, because you can, get in the middle and get a consistent flow of customers and leads. One of the ones we see a lot is just campaigns not following best practices, and that's okay. It's really easy to get your account on the right path, because what happens And how I explain it is Google comes out with like a new feature every, 3 to 6 months, like a big beta feature, right? And they're always moving the goalposts. So if you're optimizing your account for the new opportunities, the new features, the new ad types, well, you have a first mover advantage. And that's how Google has really stayed relevant. They have 9 figures. Eventually they're going to be making like $1 trillion a year in ad revenue. We'll get there. Trust me, we will. And what they do is they move the goalposts, as I said, which keeps it really innovative and quick and fast. And we still see clients with like outdated search ads that haven't been touched. Like, sure, you can run them, they'll get your results and you might not have to move them, but are your competitors getting better results because they're using, responsive search ads, they're using AI, and it's just plugging in different copy that's working and producing better results for your competitors? Those are all things to consider that are worthwhile. One of the things we do to implement best practices is we use first-party data. That means your customer data, okay? All of your sales, all of your CRM data, everything that makes a relationship with a customer turn into a transaction is something we can feed back into Google Ads. It's really important to utilize first-party data because these platforms are not going to block first-party data. You have a right to collect first-party data. And I think there's some nuances here with the privacy that most businesses don't understand. We didn't understand it up until 6 months ago because the industry is so new and it's emerging, which is why we have this unique analytics solution to help you collect first-party data and privacy-focused, consentless analytics tracking. This is all something that you can see right here. So, there's ways to optimize it. Like really, the low-hanging fruits is like location targeting and scheduling. Sometimes you're running ads in a country you don't even sell services. And that happens a lot. Sometimes you're running a national campaign in the US and you don't have a big budget and you don't feel like you're winning. Well, there's ways to really get around that. And it's important to take what you got and make it work for you, because that's the formula here in Google Ads. You're never going to have the perfect website. You're never going to have the perfect offer. You're never going to have the perfect budget. But if you have 2 of the 3 figured out and you're only stuck on that one, well, you can keep pushing until you're 3 for 3 and you're just crushing it, right? Your competitors are crushing it because they continue to move forward. They don't give up. If you give up, your results turn off in some cases. And one of the things too is consistency. You don't necessarily need to have somebody managing your accounts. You do need somebody to go in there professionally and tune it up. Whatever that frequency is. If you're spending a lot, it's going to be more often. If you're spending a little, it's going to be less often. But you need somebody in there at least once or twice a year, if not more, if you're not ready for management, to make sure that somebody's updating the ad copy, configuring the accounts to the best practices. Google could discontinue something that you're investing a lot into or modify it in a way which will make it unprofitable. So if you don't have a pulse on these changes in the industry and you don't have a network that can help you get this information, well, you can look towards growing your network and finding partners that have this information like Zima Media. It's quite easy to figure out. However, if you don't know how to implement it, it can actually cost your marketing budget gravely. Some of the key takeaways here is you need to focus on improving your core aspects of your Google Ads strategy and avoid these quick wins, seeking these fixes that is just going to help you get to the top. The internet doesn't work like that. I think people think the internet is still multi-level marketing to some extent, and there are some agents out there, but it's not. It's marketing, but it's online. Right? Nothing's changed. Your billboard is not on the side of the highway. It's on somebody's iPhone that's browsing the internet. So this is how the advantages of moving to digital and having good tracking work. Oh God, I'm puddle. Okay, I got through, guys. And then if you follow the best practices, you have the best conversion tracking, and you have the best partners such as Zima Media, I think you can really thrive online. And thanks for watching this video. Google ads are converting for our customers, and the only ads that are not converting are for our incoming customers because they haven't been able to stay on top of the latest trends. You can check out another video where I talk about consentless analytics here on the channel, and make sure to click the description to see these blogs that I mentioned about Google Analytics 4 not being enough. Not being enough. I say we should have called it sucks, but it's not being enough. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.